Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, regardless of where you are. It's always a great time to study the gospel according to Spiritism. Today we're going to discuss chapter 65 of the book Our Daily Bread, which is entitled Let Us Have Peace. Before we begin, I would like to take an opportunity to thank Kardec Radio for opening up their platform for conversations just like this one. Kardec Radio is again in different platforms, including the X platform. The interesting thing about accessing them through the X platform is that you can actually send your comments or questions, and the staff from Kardec Radio will reply to you. So before we begin, let's close our eyes in prayer and ask for peace. The peace in the world, the peace in the country, peace in our communities, but especially peace within ourselves. Our peace starts with us, and that's the way we can expand it to the outside and improve our surroundings. May God's love be with us always, always harmonizing our lives and guiding our steps. So be it. So again, today we're going to be discussing chapter 65 of the book, Our Daily Bread. And again, the title is Let Us Have Peace. And it is based on First Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 13, in which Paul writes the following: live in peace with each other. Very important. Live in peace with each other. So try to be in harmony with your brothers and sisters. Try to be harmonious. Try to have communication. Try to have a balance. Try to have respect and tolerance with one another. Emmanuel explains here that if it is impossible to breathe in a perfectly peaceful atmosphere among the human beings due to the ignorance and the hostility so flagrant in the human path, it is logical for the student to seek his inner serenity in face of the conflicts that seek to involve him constantly. So we see here that, again, our world is a world of trials and atonements. It is not an easy world to live in. There are many, many challenges that we face every day. And dealing with our brothers and sisters is a challenge. A lot of times it's joyful, but many, many times it's difficult. Again, it's the nature of the world we live in. So it is hard for us to find the peace outside of ourselves. Therefore, it's important for us to look for it in ourselves, within us. Emmanuel continues here indicating that each incarnate mind constitutes an extensive nucleus of spiritual government, subordinated at this time to just limitations, served by various powers reflected in the senses and in the perceptions. So as we are reincarnated here in the flesh, so even though we are in the flesh in a body, it is a spirit, still a spiritual government. So there are limitations of the body, but but those are limited, and then we have very limited senses and imperfections. As a spirit, we are free to roam, we're free to move, and we actually there are so many other perceptions within us. But as we reincarnated, we're restricted to the five senses. And Emmanuel continues here that when all the individual centers of power are self-controlled by mankind with ample movement toward legitimate righteousness, then wars should be exiled from the planet. So he's indicating to us that as each one of us controls the way that he or she manifests himself or herself in the world, and I like the term that he uses here, legitimate righteousness, so actually doing what's right, then wars should be exiled from the planet. So he's indicating here that that's when there's going to be true peace. So it's not the other way around. I like the way he's explaining it here. It's not that first there are gonna be no wars in the planet and then we're gonna be peace. No. First of all, we have to have the self-control and establish this peace within ourselves, and then there will be peace outside. He continues here indicating that to achieve this, however, it is essential that the brothers and sisters in humankind, older in experience and knowledge, learn to have inner peace. So it's indicating that for all of those that are older, all of those individuals in humanity that have more experience and more knowledge, it is up to them to learn this. It is up to them now that they learn know a little bit more than the rest. Now they start to develop this inner peace. Again, it's not that they should try to establish the peace. I mean, of course, they contribute to the peace outside, but they start nourishing the peace inside themselves so that they can bring it to the outside. Going back to the senses, so Emmanuel continues here indicating that to educate the vision, the hearing, the taste, the impulses represents the primordial basis for edificating pacifism. So for us to have peace, right? Pacifism, an indication of peace here, the element of peace. So we have to educate what? Educate our senses, educate how we see the world. And I like the way that indicates here our senses and the impulses. So it's not just educating how we see the world, but especially educating how we react to the world itself. That's very, very important. So again, how we see the world and how we behave in the world. And he expands on that right here by indicating that as a rule, we hear, we visualize, and we feel according to our inclinations and not according to the essential reality. So again, the way we interface with the world is based on ourselves. It is based on our perspective. So in the essential reality, I like the way and allow me to make a personal comment here. This is my own interpretation. Is that each one of us they have a different standpoint. Each one of us has a particular perspective. So we're all imperfect spirits who are evolving. So therefore, each one of us has a different perspective. So again, it is how we see things is based on our perfection and our perception, which is related to our level of development, our level of spiritual perfection. So he continues here indicating that we register certain information differently from the good intentions initially based, and yes, according to our personal internal disturbance. So I like here that he is referring to the fact that us, we see the world, we're gonna have the peace in the world, but there is no matter how peaceful or or or, or turbulent the world is outside, our own disturbance is going to dictate how we see it, or our level of disturbance or lack thereof is going to indicate how we see it, or I should say indicate, I should say dictate how we see it. He continues here indicating that we observe situations and scenery in the light or in the shadow that absorbs our intelligence. Again, each situation, each circumstance is interpreted by us based on our enlightenment or in our lack of spiritual knowledge. We perceive with the reflection or with the chaos that we install in our understanding. So we perceive with we either ponder or we are either ponder the situations and that's how we understand the situations, or our chaos we interpret, we internalize the world around us based on our chaos. So again, he keeps reminding us the need for us to establish this inner peace in us so that we can have a clear vision of the world and again bring the peace that we want to see. So he finalized indicating here that this is the reason why we must, as much as possible, maintain serenity around us. as we face the conflicts encountered in the sphere in which we are situated. So he's showing us that hey, we have to maintain serenity. So regardless of the chaos that we're in, it is up to us to try as much as possible. And it's I like that he indicates here as much as possible because we're in perfect spirits. Eh, there's only so much we can do as well, but at least we have to put in an effort to reach that level. And he finalized here indicating that without calm, it is impossible to observe and to work for righteousness. Without inner peace, we shall never be able to reach the circles. We shall never reach the circles of true peace. So again, we need calm to if we want. We need to to have calm. We need to have the serenity, the peace, the internal peace, if we want to do work for righteousness. If we want to do the right thing, the moment in which we lose our inner peace, the moment in which instead of pondering, instead of reflecting on our actions, reflecting before we act, and we use our impulses and we react and react in a negative manner, that's when we steer away from the path of righteousness. Therefore, it makes it harder for us to do good. So, and we should never be able to reach true peace without the inner peace. So again, we should never try to think of peace again as something that is exterior to us, something that we're going to try to reach from the from the outside. We should reach it from inside. We should have build it as our inner peace and build it from there so that we can reach true peace wherever we are. So that's our conversation for today. I hope you like it. And Kardec Radio offers several programs just like this one. So make sure you subscribe or follow depending on the social media platform that you're using, and so that you get notified and you can have access to content similar to this one. At this time, let's close our eyes again in prayer and thank the Lord. Thank the Lord for the knowledge that is being bestowed upon us. Thank the Lord for the guidance that the spirits have been providing to us. And may we use the knowledge that we have. May it be advanced, may it be extensive, or may it be primordial and limited. Doesn't matter. Within our possibilities, let's do our best. Let's do our best to build the inner peace in us and bring the peace to wherever we go to, and to exchange peace with whomever we interact with. So be it.